So let me tell you a little bit about my YouTube journey. And it goes back for many, many years, but we're not going to get into all the details, but I want to share with you some things. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you a revelation that I had that I think when I explain it to you will benefit you if you are creating content of any kind. And I hope that it will. And it is something that is going to drive pretty much everything that I do moving forward with the creation of these videos. So my YouTube journey started almost 20 years ago, okay? And that's when I signed up for one of the first accounts back when YouTube first started. And I think I was part of YouTube even before Google owned them. And I thought early on that YouTube is an amazing place. I can just create videos. I like talking on camera. I can do this and people will watch and maybe it can help my business. And so over the years, I tried to do it many, many different times, unsuccessfully, just because I wasn't committed enough to doing it. As a matter of fact, in 2010, 2011, 12, I really started pumping some videos out. And if you look at my analytics, my results around that time, I could see that my graph of movement and growth started really taking off. And if I had stuck with it some 12, 13 years ago, then I wouldn't be making this video necessarily. I might be, but my YouTube growth would be phenomenal, I'm sure. But I didn't. And so I started and stopped many times throughout the years. But I thought at the end of last year, 2024, I thought, you know what? I've tried this over and over again, and I've been involved in other things instead, but I'm going to really make a really concerted effort to do something with YouTube this year. And that's why a couple months ago, I started posting regularly here on YouTube. As a matter of fact, over the last 2 months, I posted some 33 videos. And why did I do that? Because I wanted to revive this channel. I wanted to use it as a means to communicate my ideas, help grow my business, and really connect with an audience. And so that's what I set out to do. Now, I've got some notes over here in case you're wondering, but this is a big part of my business, what I want it to be moving forward. So going in to this revival of my channel for like the 5th or 6th time, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to create videos. I'm going to try to make them interesting. And there's always room for improvement, but maybe you go through this process or have gone through this similar process when starting your YouTube channel, or maybe you're going through it now. And I thought, you know what, if I create interesting videos, what I think are interesting, that will appeal to people, then people from all over the world are going to be drawn to watch my videos. If I can appeal to people's problems or challenges that they face in general. And I thought, you know what, that's what I share. I share the self-improvement ideas, self-development ideas, habit change, mindset change, and everybody has issues with these things. Being more productive, being motivated. So I thought, you know what, if I can just make it interesting, everybody on YouTube is going to be a potential audience member of my videos. And maybe you thought the same thing. Maybe you have something that you share that you think is interesting, and if you can just make it interesting, people are going to watch. But that's the problem. So what I started doing is I posted, and 3 times a week I posted videos. Hopefully maybe some of them you've watched. And what I learned over those couple months is that there were some good results and not so good results. Looking at them, I thought, okay, I've got a video. One of the videos got 2,200 views, 2,300 views. Great. I've got a couple others, I think, have 1,000 views or maybe even more than 1,000 views. But in general, I'm looking at the view count of around 200, 300, and some of them even less than 100. And most people, after 2 months, and again, my channel was kind of a dead channel. After 2 months, getting those kind of numbers, they'd be thrilled. They'd be like, man, that's amazing. But, and I'm grateful for those, but something just felt off anyway. And so I talked about something called the bracket method just recently in a video, where you start out a project like a YouTube channel or any kind of thing, and there's all these potentials. There's just seems like an infinite number of potentials that can direct the direction or take the direction that you want to go with this project. And you could go many different ways. You could go this direction, you could go that direction, we could go straight line. There are so many options and decisions that take you in various ways to get to the end point of winning or completing that project or doing it successfully. That is the bracket method. I'm not here to talk too much about that, but I went into this YouTube journey again thinking there are so many things that I could do with this channel, but a big part of that process of the bracket method is to find out what works and what doesn't work. And what doesn't work, stop doing. What does work, use that and refine it, and maybe find even better ways to improve what you're already doing that's working. So eliminate the garbage and just narrow down your choices over time as to what you need to do to get to the end result that you're looking for. That's the bracket method. So as I was doing this, now as I was thinking about this bracket method and doing this process of narrowing down what doesn't work and what does work, I found out something interesting. Something interesting hit me in this process. And I thought, you know what, my videos, I feel like, are generally pretty useful. People are finding some value from them because I'm getting a lot of likes. I'm getting a high like count on my videos, meaning that the people that do watch it, even though there may not be a lot of them, the people that do, percentage-wise, a lot of them are finding it helpful. But I found out that the people that are watching it are just kind of interested in what I have to share. You know, I talk about habit change. Everybody's interested in habit change. I talk about being motivated. Everybody's kind of somewhat interested in motivation. I talk about being productive. Everybody, to some degree, is interested in some of those things. So people were interested in my videos, but that's not enough. That is the realization that I came to. It's not enough for people just to click on your video because they don't have anything else to do. And they think, well, that might be interesting to know. I'm a human being. I've got that challenge. That's not enough. Instead of people being interested in my content, which I'm grateful for, I need people who want my content in order to solve their problems. People need to be hungry for the content that I'm creating. Not just interested. Interested on an energy level is like a 1 or 2. Hungry for my content because it solves a specific problem that they're dealing with. That's a 9 or 10. Okay, interested, 1 or 2. Hungry for that content, 9 or 10. So it should be something that they feel like when they see a video from me, it's something they have to learn. They must learn. And why? Well, because they are experiencing a real problem that's affecting their business, their life, their money, that kind of thing. When they have a vested interest in what you are teaching, as opposed to just maybe watching it to burn through some time. When they have a real reason for watching it, that is what I need. And so I discovered that. So who is this group, I got to thinking, that would really specifically benefit from the things that I'm teaching? Who is the group that is hungry for this kind of information? Well, I realized that I need to find and define a niche or a niche. And in the back of my mind, I've been doing things for a long time. I've been selling things over the years for a long time. And I don't know why this block existed with YouTube so much, other than I just thought, well, I could appeal to everybody. And I was trying to go against the proven method of making this work by appealing to everyone. And there's an old saying that when you try to appeal to everyone, you'll appeal to no one, essentially. I mean, I think it's put a little bit different, but that's essentially the idea. You can't appeal to everyone and be successful, generally speaking. So I needed to identify and look for the group that is driven to learn, want to learn what I'm sharing, so that when they see a video from me, they're like, I got to know that. I got to learn that, not just a passing interest. So I started thinking about how to do this and this niche that I wanted to find. And so what I started considering was, what could my ideas, this vast catalog of ideas, I have thousands of different ideas, who could this appeal to specifically so that they're driven to want to learn the ideas about motivation, productivity, habit change, creativity, that kind of thing. And I realized that there's a group out there already that is a very strong niche that people appeal to all the time. And that is creators, people that have their own YouTube channels, people that are creating content, people that make stuff. They have a vested interest in wanting to learn how to be more creative, wanting to learn how to be more productive, how to overcome the challenges and roadblocks that come with being creative. That is a group that when you post a video, they're eating it like they haven't eaten lunch in a week. And they want to consume that information because it affects their business, affects their life to a major degree, other than just kind of being interested in it. And so I thought about that. And I thought, you know, creators right now, they are taken care of and people appeal to them in videos right now by really talking about the stuff out there. You know, let me show you the templates on how to use templates to get done what you're needing to get done. Let me talk to you about the settings that you need to change. Let me talk to you about how to test this title and thumbnail against that one. It's all the stuff out there, and that's great. I learned a lot from that, and I'm not knocking it. I think it's very valuable. But people have a passion to learn those things because it affects their life to a major degree. Again, it's not an energy level of 1 or 2 where they're interested, but it's a 9 or 10 where that information can make a major and huge impact in their life. And I thought, well, they're being underserved by how to deal with the inner game of being a content creator, how to become more effective and productive, how to deal with challenges and creativity, how to get past problems and challenges with being motivated, how to take action and have a clear path of what to do, the inner game. That is, I feel, and I checked ChatGPT, which is AI, if you don't know what that is, how well served that is in the YouTube community. And what I found is there's not a lot of people that are talking about this in context of creators. How can creators have the right mindset, the right habits, the right motivation to get the job done that they want to achieve? And so I thought that is a great niche to take the same content that I've already been creating and really put it in context of these creators so that they can learn from it and be impacted by it. So moving forward, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about this idea of being creative, being motivated, how to deal with, how to develop the habits of a creator, how to really take action on these different things. And now this will be a shift in my content to some degree, but not a major shift. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. So in the past, I've talked about the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. And again, when I created that video initially, I was appealing to everyone. I was going for the people that have an energy level of 1 or 2 interested. And I thought everybody's going to be interested in knowing how they can maybe work out when they don't want to, or maybe they can do an organization project or a project at home when they don't want to. They can use the 5-second rule to do that. But you know what? Again, 1 or 2 energy level isn't anywhere what I need to really grow my channel. I need the 9 or 10ers. And so what I could have done is take that idea of the 5-second rule and put it in context of a creator. Somebody that is holding back, that doesn't have the motivation to want to create something, even though they know they should, because it's part of their business and it's a big part of how they want to be successful in life. They are driven, they're hungry to want to learn that kind of thing. So I could have taken that same information and said, you know what, I'm going to appeal to creators with this. As a creator, how can you use the 5-second rule in this situation or in that situation? When you first wake up, when you first turn on the camera, when you don't have the desire to want to do anything because it's Friday afternoon, but you know you need to create. Here's how you use the 5-second rule. So again, the information is essentially the same, but I'm wrapping it in a different way to appeal to a group that is hungry for that information, not just interested. Or one more example, some time ago, I put together a video about having a breakthrough. And the challenge is that when you're growing, you come up against frustrations and challenges, and you just feel like you're not getting things done, and you just want to give up because your comfort zone is kind of pushing you to stay where you are, and it's leading to this immense frustration when you're trying to grow. And that frustration is a signal that you need to push even more because you're close to a breakthrough. Now, again, I appeal to the 1 or 2 energy level people who might be interested in that. Everybody's got a challenge with breaking through their comfort zone. But if I had taken that same information and appealed to creators, people that are starting a channel or starting a creative project of some sort, and maybe learning something new, there's frustrations, there's anger sometimes with how things just don't seem to work even though you're trying so hard. And if I had appealed to them, that is a group of people who wants that problem solved. How can you have a breakthrough as a creator when you're dealing with frustration and the challenges that come with learning new things and it just not working out? See, that's the difference. And again, content is generally the same, but I'm wrapping it differently in order to appeal to that niche. Now, how can you benefit from this idea? Because this is what I'm going to do moving forward, is appealing to that niche of creators and taking the same content and packaging it in that way. How can you benefit? Well, if this is the biggest lesson, and it is the biggest lesson that I've learned through this process that I want to share, is that you don't want to appeal to people who have an interest in what you have to say. So if you think you've got a great idea, and some people out there might think, oh, that's pretty cool, I'm going to burn through 6, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, watch through this. You're going to find people that do that from time to time. Those are not the type of people that you want to appeal to. You want to appeal to people who are hungry for what you have to teach. What people, what niche needs to know exactly what you are teaching and what you are sharing. Find out who they are and appeal to them. Not everybody, but that particular niche. Speak to them directly. Speak to them in a way that shows that you are not talking to every person out there, but them specifically and their particular needs. If you do that, you're going to find that you are feeding a group of hungry content consumers. And I believe, as I've learned through this process over the years, and as I had this revelation about this, but I believe that is going to lead to the difference between just some views on your YouTube channel and growth on your YouTube channel, where people, when they see a video posted by you, they're like, I can't wait to get another one of my problems solved by Derek or whoever. Or I've got a challenge and Derek is speaking directly to me about this challenge and I got to learn what he has to say. And they're going to be waiting to hear what you have to say or the videos that you're about to post. And they're just not going to kind of stumble across them and watch them just because they're interested. So that is the lesson. Appeal to people who are hungry, not people just interested. That's what I'm doing, and I hope you stick with me. Again, it's a subtle shift, but it is going to be a shift in my content. And right now, I hope that you found this information useful and helpful in your own journey. And I hope that you have an amazing day.